Hello, my dear viewers. It is April 1st. We have a traditional review of the events on the fronts of the Ukrainian war. We started from the Vidayevka direction, where our troops in the area of Berdiki, Semyonovka, continue to crush the enemy. A very serious battle is going on for Semyonovka, where our troops are gradually gnawing through his defenses, knocking out his house after house. The loss of Semyonovka is critically important for the enemy, because this is essentially an exit to the rear of the defense lines, which he holds in the area of the western part of Berdichi, relying simultaneously on a natural obstacle on the height difference. If we reach this position from the rear, then the enemy will have to leave these lines and retreat further to the west, northwest, which will dramatically complicate the situation for him. It is for this reason that he desperately throws reserves here, even attempting to counterattack, continue to attempt to counterattack. Well, from experience, I will say that any counterattacks after that, how they're running out of steam in the end, meaning our offense ends not just here. The best example really is the direction towards Cherniv. Remember, in yesterday's review I pointed out that the enemy's attacks are visibly losing momentum and the time soon coming for our next attacks, because that has always been the case here. So I wasn't particularly surprised by last night's news about our troops going on the offensive on the hill and advancing a bit closer to the hour of Mayaru, having secured another landing. Now we're literally a few hundred towards the outskirts of Chasiv Yar. Another landing on the outskirts of Chasiv Yar. Such is the situation towards Chasiv Yar. Having repelled the enemy's counterattacks, we started attacking again. Again, based on the same scheme, air support, artillery, flushing out, knocking out all enemy strongholds, then comes a throw, establishing a foothold, the next throw. I'm really hoping for good news from Yarsky as well as from the Avdiivka district. In the meantime, good news came from a different direction yesterday. Between Avdiivka and Krasnohorivka, our troops in the Pervomaiskoye and Vodianov district continued to apply pressure on the retreating enemy, nearly completely liberating Vodianov. There were only a few isolated houses left on the outskirts. The rest were taken under full control by our forces yesterday. At the same time, they advanced into Pervomaiskoye, taking another quarter or so. Only one push remains to free Pervomaiskoye. I hope that the final push will happen today, possibly even today or tomorrow. Our defense ministry will likely announce the complete liberation of both Vodianov and Pervomaiskoye. Next up will be Mitailovo, and we'll move on to Karlovka. But that's not the most important thing, because we will then encounter very inconvenient geography, meaning we will, of course, be unable to attack from these positions. We will be able to gradually infiltrate from the north of Krasnohorivka, which is critically important for the enemy because we are gradually attacking from the direction of Yorhivka, cutting him off. Southern communications, taking them under fire control. If we do the same from the north, then the fate of the Krasnohorivka garrison, despite their serious fortifications, they're relying on a brick factory with very serious buildings, regardless of how we're processing it with aircraft. If they throw yet a fairly serious position, the role of this garrison in this case will be decided. That's the main point of our flanking actions here of our armed forces. The question is exactly in Krasnohorivka, in its movement a little bit further south in Novomikhailivka area. Our troops also had a very important success yesterday. We took the prevailing height south of Novomikhailivka, which prevails not only over the western part of Novomikhailivka, which we have not liberated yet, but also over neighboring Poroskolovka, and it simplifies our movement further to Kostiantinivka, the key junction of the enemy's communications, which blocks our movement bypassing Vuhledar. That is, the capture of this key height, I believe, will finally force the command the enemy to withdraw the remnants of the garrison from Novomikhailivka. They will try to maintain our troops in the area of Poroskoivka and Kostiantinivka. Along the latter, our aviation is already working powerfully, preparing our attack. The reserves are being destroyed. Enemy strongholds are being destroyed. That is, there is dynamic movement happening here. Here we are advancing every day, I repeat. Yesterday, the key height south of Mikhailovka was taken. Well, afterwards, I don't know. You have to be a complete idiot from the part of the Ukrainian armed forces to leave your units behind, attempting to hold this settlement, or rather its abandonment, as they say. We will wait and see, but in any case, we are also advancing here. In the other sectors, generally relative, well, not a lull, but the fights carry on, though much less intense than in the Seversky sector, where in the regions of northern Solidar, the fights are quite serious. The enemy is also switching to a counterattack. We're attacking, meaning quite intense battles are happening here.